What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here. We're here at the Alchemy RPG booth. If that sounds familiar, it's because you might remember it from PAX Unplugged just a few months ago. So I'm here with Chris. Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Chris. I'm the co-founder and designer of Alchemy, and stoked to be here.
So if you recall, we talked a little bit about Alchemy. It was not ready to launch when we talked back at Unplugged. And as of Thursday of this week, so 3 days ago, it is now officially live for early access founder status for anybody to use, correct?
That's right, yeah. So after a good few years of hacking on this thing, my co-founder and I finally got to the place where we rolled this out on Thursday. It's in early access. Not everything's there, but a lot is there. It's always going to be early for me, but there's a lot of value there, and we're really excited about what's there.
So we talked a little bit about it before, but the biggest I don't want to call it a detriment, but the biggest feature that people are always looking for in any kind of virtual scenario was battle maps. And when we spoke back at Unplugged, that was not a thing that we were talking about. It was not going to happen. But I'm proud and excited to say that that's not the case anymore. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah, so with maps, we personally didn't use them a lot in our games. We kept coming to this place in Alchemy because we play tested every single week, where we have these really crunchy combat encounters and we need to measure relative distance and orientation. We need to know if the fireball is going to TPK everybody or the thunder wave's even going to work. So through some recent partnerships with Che and Peku, who create amazing battle maps, we've been exploring this mode and just really trying to make our platform more accessible to people that they actually really want to use maps or they need that inspiration. So we've kind of reimagined that experience a little bit. It's a tool in the app now where if you have a battle map attached to your scene and you enter into initiative, you can show a full tactical map. We're working on Fog of War right now, but you can drop tokens on it and do all the things that you might need to do. The thing we're really excited about is if you don't have a battle map, there's a really kind of elegant way that the background blurs out, darkens, and drops a grid for you so you can pull your character avatars on it. Stay within the theater of the mind, stay within that cinematic view, but measure everything that you need to do with combat.
And that's huge because I've seen that in my own personal games. If we don't want to set up, we kind of call it abstract dungeoneering, where we're going to make like a kind of room, and this is just for positioning in case we need it. And usually if you're doing some sort of virtual tabletop, you kind of have to come up with something or it doesn't really work. So having something that you can just quickly be like, all right, we have a grid now. If we need to, you are roughly here, they are roughly here. Here's the size of the room. Here's what your fireball hits.
Totally. Yeah, and that was something that, just from a design perspective, we didn't want to start with maps. There's so many amazing tools for maps where you can, create dynamic lighting and draw walls and all that stuff. But for us, we really wanted to create something different that was very accessible to new players, but also just highly cinematic and immersive. And we just kind of got to this place where we needed to solve the combat problem. And so again, instead of just jumping to maps and what's already out there, we always want to try to reimagine these solutions. So yeah, we're excited about where it is today, which is pretty light, but we've got some really big ideas to handle proximity-based combat in the future that we'll be rolling out over the next several months.
So let's talk, Founder Box, there's a couple of them behind me and around, and that's a thing that's available now, which is kind of you were there from the start. People can pick them up here, physical boxes if they're here at the convention. They're also available digitally for folks who aren't here. What does that entail? What do you get if you decide to be a founder?
Yeah, so we've got these pretty sweet boxes. We made 1,000 of these, and we've hand-numbered all of them. So it's a really kind of a bespoke thing that we hope will be around forever for these founders. Basically what it is, it gives you a 1-year subscription to our premium tier, but also it gives you all of our launch partner content. So we've got things in there from adventures to campaign settings like Humblewood, Griffin Saddlebag, magic items, music, monsters, basically everything you need to get started. But the founder account is what's really special about it. Not only do you get that that 1 year, but you also get 50% off for life, and you get a founder badge on your account that has your number associated with it, early access to features, and a private Discord server.
So, since we're talking about 50% off for life, what does a yearly subscription look like so folks can get an idea of spending the money now is going to save you money in the long term?
Yeah, so what we're thinking about for pricing is we'll have a pretty generous free tier that'll work a little bit like D&D Beyond, where you have so many slots that you can make games and characters and content universes. So we'll start with 3 games, 3 characters, and 1 content universe, which is kind of our world building tool for getting content in. And then you'll subscribe for $8 a month to get unlimited.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, $4 a month for perpetuity, really, at this point.
Or if we ever change the pricing, then you get half of that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's also something, future-proofing as well. So yeah, in a lot of ways, you're going to pay for that relatively quickly for your $100 founder box now, getting that first full year for free, and then again, that half off forever. Right. You're going to pay for that really within the first 2 years. You're going to have, it's going to be worth the money, so it's kind of worth picking up now.
Yeah, also the content inside is worth over $250, which is all content that's going to be for sale on our marketplace.
And that's something if you go in and play around, which I was doing a little bit this morning, it's, you obviously have stuff that you guys have created, your own world. We talked a little bit about that at PAX Unplugged. But as you said, it's not just stuff from you and the folks at Hit Point. You've got Griffin's Saddlebag. I saw Nord Games. There's a bunch of really popular, really present third-party D&D 5e creators are supporting this platform and providing you with licensing and information so that you can go ahead and take that, and even stuff that's simple like rolling tables that other companies have put together, which could be handled in a paper format. You guys are going to take that even step further and make it digital.
Yeah. There's some amazing creators in the OGL community. Nord Games is definitely one of those partners that we're really excited to work with. They've created so much content in building settlements and NPCs, adventures, and it's all within roll tables that, it's a little bit manual in a book. You got to roll, and it's fun. You kind of deduce everything down. But in an app, you can press one button and it does all those rolls for you. And now all of a sudden, on the fly, you've got a tavern keeper with a backstory and a secret and a lineage and siblings, which is pretty cool for on the fly, like character generation or inspiration, or even generating like different scenes and stuff like that.
So I know it's available it's a browser. So that's something that if you're unfamiliar with it, it works in a browser. There's a desktop application as well. I haven't played around to see on the phone, but it looks like the browser works on the phone. Just if people are wondering how they can use it and what platforms they have, why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think device ubiquity is like one of the most important things when we think about playing a social game. Everybody needs to be able to connect. But one of the big problems that we have today is that if it requires a PC and somebody can't be at their PC, then game night's canceled.
Right.
So we actually designed Alchemy for an iPad. And there's a lot of considerations in that, not just smaller screens, but also touch, especially when you're thinking about a game that's so detailed like D&D. You need multi-click, you need sub-menus and all that stuff. So it took us a long time, but we sweated those details early on. And so today, if you scale down the app in a browser or you look at it on your phone, it's a little not quite there, but all the design is there. So within the next few months, we'll have all of that stuff working, and hopefully be the first like end-to-end D&D experience on a phone. Whereas we've got great dice rollers and counter trackers and all that stuff now, this will allow you to play an end-to-end game with voice chat and everything else.
Which is something that, again, I didn't want to belabor it too much, but I feel like it's important to say, if this is their first time seeing it, and people are actually here experiencing it at the con, there's a bunch of setups here people are playing around with, that is one of the things that separates you from other virtual tabletop services, which there's a bunch of different ways, like you said, to roll dice, to create characters, even to do battle maps, but most of them are severely lacking in the way in which you communicate with your fellow players. You usually have to use some other third party, which might cost you a subscription service in and of itself, especially if you want to do any kind of high quality video or things of that nature, and you guys have everything all contained all in one.
Yeah, that's right. And that was one of the first things we did actually when we built Alchemy, was we built a voice chat connection server. And we're using a third-party service, which is honestly our highest cost as a platform, to make our voice chat as solid as anything like Zoom or Discord. We're actually using the same service that powers Clubhouse. So something that like you might find in a browser-based app that's maybe not as high quality, that pushes you to something like Discord, that's not what we're doing. At the core, Alchemy is a voice chat connected app and then everything else we built on top of that.
So where could folks, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, it's pretty easy to get to, but if somebody wanted to go check it out, play around with free stuff, or just see the app or things like that, where would they go to find that?
Yeah, so today, stoked to announce that you can now officially sign up for an account for free. Check things out. We don't have subscriptions live yet, but probably in the next couple weeks we will. So alchemyrpg.com is where you connect with that. Also, Twitter is great. There's a lot of talk going on right now, and we'd love to get the word out. Join our Discord server. Yeah.
And you guys let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing me play around with this stuff. Maybe we could do a live stream and see what's going on with it, and we can go ahead and make that happen and walk through it and play around. I've got a founder box so I can see all of the different things. If you're curious about how the different modules and things interact, we can make that happen, and then we'll go from there. And excited to see where things go, because you guys are constantly innovating and rolling out new stuff. And the plan is to, whenever things are possible to roll out, just add new content to the marketplace as well as the back end of the system, correct?
Yeah, we've got a great team of content ingestion folks that are full-time on our staff who are doing nothing but bringing on new content. So at this point, about every week, we're going to have some kind of a new book from Hit Point Press or Nord Games or any of our other partners like that. So new features as well are rolling out all the time. We have all kinds of ideas, all kinds of new innovations that we're working on. And if you want to try new ways to experience the game, we're super into that. We're super excited about it. We want to take the game and reinvent it, put it in a new experience, and put it out there.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you for your time. Look for more from Alchemy RPG, and again, links to everything down in the comments and in the description. So, thanks.